She did everything right. She showed up. She worked overtime. She skipped vacations. And yet, every single month, the money was gone before the month was over. This is her story, and it might be yours too. Sarah sits alone at her kitchen table late at night. The room is dark except for the harsh yellow glow of a small lamp. She opens her banking app and stares at the screen. $23.47 remaining. Payday was 10 days ago. She worked 58 hours this week, dragging herself through 2 different jobs. Yet the numbers on her screen tell a story of failure that she just cannot reconcile with her effort. If this story feels familiar, or if you are tired of the cycle, make sure to save this video and subscribe to the channel, because tonight we are going to change the way you see your own bank account. But tonight, something was different. Tonight, Sarah decided to find the answer. Sarah's life is a testament to the grinding reality of the modern working class. Her alarm goes off at 5:30 in the morning, a shrill reminder that the day has begun. From 7 until 6, she works at a retail warehouse where the concrete floors leach the warmth from her feet. On the weekends, she takes a second shift at a local diner, clearing tables and pouring coffee until her back aches. She brings home $3,200 a month. She does not travel. She does not drive a new car. She does not take her friends out for expensive dinners. She lives a life of careful restraint, yet every single month, the same result occurs. She is completely drained before the 20th. According to a 2025 Federal Reserve report, 56% of Americans cannot cover a $400 emergency expense. Sarah was one of them, and she had no idea why. The shame of it was a constant heavy weight in her chest. She felt like a failure, a person who couldn't manage the basic math of survival despite working herself to the bone. She wasn't irresponsible, but she was invisible to her own money. She felt like a ghost haunting her own life, watching the dollars evaporate into the ether while she stood by, confused and exhausted. The turning point came when Sarah grabbed a battered notebook from her junk drawer and decided to confront the invisible thief. She started to list every single transaction from the last 30 days, forcing herself to look at the truth she had been avoiding. One by one, the leaks began to appear, and they weren't the big, obvious expenses she had feared. Leak 1 was the subscription she had completely forgotten about. There was the streaming service she rarely watched, a meditation app she had used exactly twice, and a cloud storage plan from 22 that had been billing her silently for years. That cost her $67 every month. Leak 2 was the exhaustion purchases. After 12-hour shifts, she was simply too tired to cook. She looked at her history and saw DoorDash orders 3 to 4 times every week. It felt like a small convenience at the time, but the total reached $140 a month. Leak 3 was a series of small, avoidable stings. ATM fees from using out-of-network machines, and 2 separate overdraft fees that hit when her timing was just slightly off. That added another $52 to the drain. Leak 4 was the category of impulse buys. The coffee she grabbed when she was running late, the snacks she bought to get through the afternoon, a new phone case, and lip balm at the checkout counter. Each one felt harmless at the moment, just a few dollars here and there, but they totaled $75 a month. Leak 5 was an unused gym membership she had kept for 8 months. She had signed up with the best intentions, but she never went. That was $45 a month. Finally, Leak 6 was the convenience markup. Because she didn't plan her grocery trips, she was buying single items at the corner store instead of shopping in bulk at the supermarket. That cost her $33 a month. Sarah sat back and stared at the number she had written at the bottom of the page. $412. Every single month. It was gone. Not to one big, catastrophic expense, but to 12 small, invisible ones. That amounted to nearly $5,000 a year, silently drained from her hard-earned paycheck. Sarah realized she didn't need to earn more to survive. She needed to see more clearly. She adopted a system of 3 simple steps to stop the bleeding. The first was the Sunday 5-minute check. Every Sunday night, she limited herself to 5 minutes. She opened her banking app, reviewed every transaction from the week, and placed them into 3 categories: need, want, or waste. The simple act of looking at her money changed her relationship with it. It moved her from a position of victimhood to a position of awareness. The second step was the payday rule. Every time her check arrived, before she paid a single bill or bought a single snack, she transferred $200 into a separate secondary savings account. She learned to pay herself first. The amount didn't matter as much as the habit did. It was about acknowledging her own future before the world took its share. The third step was the exhaustion plan. Sarah realized that her tiredness was her most expensive habit. She committed to 2 hours of meal prep every Sunday. By having her food ready to go, she eliminated 90% of her DoorDash spending. She stopped buying her way out of fatigue. The results began to show, month by month. In the first month, she saved $200, which was the first time she had held on to any extra cash in 3 years. In the second month, she canceled those 4 forgotten subscriptions and saved $310. By the third month, she hit her first $1,000 emergency fund milestone. She cried when she saw that number. It was the first time in her adult life she felt a sense of safety. By month 5, she had $3,400 saved and had completely eliminated her overdraft fees. She wasn't just saving money, she was building a buffer against the chaos of the world. Sarah sits at the same kitchen table, with the same notebook, but now the room feels different. The lamp is the same, but the light seems warmer, softer. She picks up her pen and writes a single sentence in her notebook. The money was never disappearing. I just wasn't watching. She closes the notebook, and a genuine smile touches her face for the first time in a long time. You are not bad with money. You are exhausted, and exhaustion has a price. But so does paying attention. And that price is $0. Start tonight. Open your banking app. Look at the last 30 days. Do not judge yourself. Do not feel ashamed. Just look. That is how Sarah's story began, and it can be how your story begins too. If this story felt familiar, save this video to help you remember that you are capable of change. Share it with someone who is struggling, someone who needs to hear that they are not alone. And subscribe to the channel, because next week we are going to talk about the one massive hidden habit that keeps people broke, even after they realize how to fix their budget. You have the power to turn your financial tides, one small conscious choice at a time. The path to quiet wealth does not start with a massive windfall. It starts with the moment you decide to turn on the light. Stay consistent, stay focused, and keep watching your money. You will be surprised at how much of it was there all along, waiting for you to notice. The shift from scarcity to stability is rarely a linear path of sheer willpower. Many believe that financial success is a product of mathematical genius or a high-paying career, but the reality is far more psychological. When Sarah looked at her transactions that first night, she wasn't looking at numbers. She was looking at the history of her own anxieties. Every impulse purchase, every late fee, and every forgotten recurring charge was a direct reflection of a moment where she felt overwhelmed and reached for a temporary dopamine release to quiet her racing mind. That is the core of the invisible tax that exhaustion levies on your bank account. When you are tired, when you are stressed, and when you feel like you are perpetually behind, your brain loses the ability to calculate long-term consequences. You stop being a planner and start being a survivor, and survival is expensive. Consider the cost of convenience. When you are working 60 hours a week or juggling the emotional labor of a household, the extra $5 for a delivery fee, or the premium paid for prepackaged meals, seems like a necessity rather than a luxury. It feels like you are buying back your time. But in truth, you are paying a surcharge on your own fatigue. This is where the habit of paying attention becomes a revolutionary act. By choosing to look at your money, you are essentially telling your brain that you are no longer operating in survival mode. You are moving into a state of management. It is the difference between a ship captain who stares at the horizon, hoping to miss the rocks, and a captain who actually looks at the charts. Let us dig deeper into this idea of the hidden habit we mentioned earlier. Many people manage to stabilize their budgets, they cut the bloat, and they stop the bleeding, yet they still find themselves hitting a wall. They reach a certain amount of savings, perhaps $5,000 or $10,000, and then suddenly, an unexpected expense arises, a car repair, a dental bill, an appliance failure, and they are right back at zero. This is what we call the plateau of reactive finance. Most people think they have a budgeting problem, but they actually have a frequency problem. They are treating money as a monthly event instead of a continuous flow. When you think of your finances only on the day your paycheck arrives, you are setting yourself up for friction. You are looking at a static snapshot and trying to make it dictate the chaos of 30 days. To break through that plateau, you have to transition from monthly budgeting to what I call velocity tracking. This means you stop asking how much you have left at the end of the month and start asking how much you are moving through your life every single day. If you spend $80 on groceries every Tuesday, that is not a random number. That is a data point. When you align your inflows with your outflows in real time, the surprises stop being surprises. They become predictable variables. Imagine for a second that your bank account is a garden. If you only visit it once a month, you are going to find weeds that have choked out your flowers. You have to walk through that garden daily, even if it is just for 60 seconds. Pull the small weeds before they grow deep roots. This is exactly what Sarah realized. The $310 she saved from those subscriptions wasn't just money. It was the realization that she had been paying for weeds she didn't even want in her garden. By simply acknowledging their existence, they vanished. Now, let's talk about the emotional weight of your financial identity. Many of the people who struggle the most are those who have adopted a self-narrative of being bad with money. It is a protective mechanism. If you tell yourself you are naturally bad at finance, then you are not responsible for the state of your bank account. It is just who you are, like having brown eyes or being tall. It is a convenient lie that keeps you trapped. But money is not a personality trait. It is a technical skill. Nobody is born knowing how a credit card interest rate works, and nobody arrives on this earth understanding the difference between a depreciating asset and an investment. If you are bad with money, it simply means you haven't been taught how to manage it. Or more likely, you haven't been given a reason to care until today. You need to detach your self-worth from your net worth. When you feel shame, you hide. When you hide, you stop looking at your statements. When you stop looking, you lose control. It is a vicious cycle. The next time you see a balance that makes your heart sink, do not turn away. Label that number. Say to yourself, this is a snapshot of my past behavior, not a prediction of my future potential. Then, take one step to change that number. Maybe it is calling a service provider to negotiate a lower rate. Maybe it is selling one item you haven't touched in a year. Maybe it is just deciding that tomorrow you will spend $0 on non-essentials. Consistency is the secret weapon that nobody wants to talk about because it sounds boring. Everyone wants the hack, the shortcut, or the magical investment that will turn $5 into $5,000 overnight. But quiet wealth is built on the back of mundane, boring, consistent actions performed over months and years. It is about the coffee you didn't buy, the energy bill you managed to lower, and the savings you funneled into an account you promised yourself you wouldn't touch. It is the cumulative effect of 1,000 small, conscious decisions that eventually reach a tipping point where the money starts working for you, rather than you working for the money. As you begin to build this buffer, you will notice a change in your physical health too. Financial stress is a physiological burden. It raises your cortisol levels, it disrupts your sleep, and it impacts your decision-making across every other area of your life. By cleaning up your finances, you are effectively lowering your baseline level of stress. You will find that you have more patience with your family, more focus at your job, and more energy for your hobbies. This is the hidden dividend of financial literacy. You aren't just saving for a rainy day, you are creating a sunnier existence for yourself in the present. Next week, when we dive into that massive hidden habit that keeps people broke, I want you to come prepared. I want you to have spent this week just observing the flow. Don't try to fix everything at once. Just observe. Be a scientist of your own life. Note when you feel the urge to spend, note what triggers it, and note how you feel immediately afterward. If you feel regret, why? If you feel relief, what were you trying to soothe? This information is more valuable than any stock tip or budgeting app feature. It is the map to your own psychology. Remember, the goal is not to live in poverty just to save money. That is a miserable existence that leads to burnout. The goal is to live with intention. You want to spend money on the things that bring you genuine joy and eliminate the spending that occurs simply because you were too tired to care. When you align your spending with your actual values, you will find that you have plenty of money. You are just leaking it through the holes in your routine. You are at the start of a transformation. It's not going to be a firework display of sudden riches. It is going to be a steady climb. There will be days when you slip, days when you overspend, and days when you feel discouraged. That is okay. The difference between the person who stays broke and the person who builds wealth isn't that the wealthy person never makes a mistake. It is that the wealthy person notices the mistake quickly, corrects it, and keeps going. They don't let a bad week turn into a bad year. Keep your notebook close. Keep your banking app accessible. And above all, keep your eyes open. The path to a better life is right beneath your feet, buried in the transactions of your everyday life. You have the power to dig it out. You have the power to stop the leak, and once you do, you will realize that you were never as helpless as you thought. You were just waiting for the right moment to start paying attention, and that moment is now. Stay consistent, my friends. We are just getting started. Just getting